So in my book, I talk about, everybody's convinced they need to be posting on social media, but they don't know what to do, especially the clients that we work with. They're trying to run a business. They have 20 or less employees, and they have to figure out this confusing thing on social media, but they know there's some expectation that it can help them grow their business. And so they start throwing things against the wall. Hey, it's Veterans Day. Let's post a picture of Veterans Day. And then it's Dog Day. You grab little sissy and let's get a picture of her and get it posted. But there's not a real strategy behind it. And then there's this communication breakdown between the social media people that you're trying to get to help you and how to do it correctly. How does Loomly really start to address the strategy and where you want these people to go if they do click on a post? How do we know where to put them so that we can get a better value of this investment of energy?
Yeah, this is very interesting because the first kind of question that you kind of raise is like, you want to post, you need to post, you don't really know what to say, and then you kind of like take things, kind of piecemeal, and you're like, oh, today is Veterans Day, I need to post about that, and then you kind of like the kind of the problem is when you do it like piecemeal and you don't have this kind of strategic view of what you are trying to say. It is correct that you may end up with kind of, like a series of posts that, are back to back and don't really mean anything, don't really tell a story. So the most important thing is, and it's actually probably the most underrated trick, but it's what we used to do as an agency, is that you don't want to be thinking at 9 a.m. about what you are going to be posting at 10 a.m.
Right.
That's a recipe for disaster. What you want to be doing instead is you want to sit down, you want to look at, the upcoming months. So let's say, we sit down today and we look at, what December is going to look like. And we're like, okay, as a brand, what do I want to tell as a story in December? How am I going to talk about the holidays in the current context? Are there any specific milestones that I want to share? Are there any specific company related events that I want to share? And are there some of those, date related holidays that you're mentioning, Veterans Day or International Dog Day? What matters is it's not, that you should not be talking about those. It's that you should use those and leverage those to anchor your communication onto those and explain how you are relevant as a brand in this context. And so to kind of be like, very practical, again, if you sit down, you look at the upcoming months and you say, okay, what, am I going to tell as a story over 10 or 20 posts? Then, it's much easier, one, to go from, a blank page to an actual series of 20 posts that make sense. Mm-hmm. Two, it's much easier to actually tell a compelling story because you can see how, one post is going to build onto the others and kind of respond to the others. And three, when you do it like that, not only is kind of, the quality going to be better, but your efficiency is going to be better because it's much easier to look at your kind of, your calendar and say, I'm going to publish those 20 posts. Then you start by finding the ideas, and then you find the idea for all 20 posts. Then you go into the next stage, which is I'm going to actually craft the copy and find the visuals. And then, you go on to the next step, which is, okay, I'm going to preview all those in a sequence and see, what the story they are telling and submit them to my team to see, what they think about it. And I believe that, this is kind of leading me to the second part of your question, which is basically how do you collaborate? How do you maximize efficiency? And how do you kind of implement best practices as a team?
Hey, thanks for watching these golden nuggets. And as a reward, I got another big fat golden nugget just for you. I wrote this book for you to help you get your act together online so you can grow your business better. You're searching, you want to learn. This is a great book. Grab the book, grow your business.
Amazing, right?